Welcome everyone, it's Dawn Duval with Shall We Stamp, and I'm coming to you live from Fort Myers, Florida. And actually I'm live while I'm recording this, but you all are watching the recording. As I mentioned last week, Chuck and I had a prior engagement for this evening, and we are out listening to a concert. And I'll tell you all about that next week. But this evening we're going to do a fun fold card, and we're also going to do a theater style card, I think is what it's called. But before we get started, I just wanted to go ahead and go over while people are still coming on, because I know some of y'all come a little tad late, but that's okay. But I wanted to go over the last things that you have for the month of August, since we're getting towards the end of the month. There are several things that I want to talk to you about. One is if you decide that if you order over $100 every month or so, then you might want to consider joining Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator. And what that means is for $99, you get to choose $125 worth of product. And this month, they're also providing a paper planner with a beautiful book. It's got 16 months of blank type pages that you can write in, the calendar and all of that. And that is actually included with a stamp set. So, and then what happens is that once you become a demonstrator, you don't need to hold classes unless you choose to do so, but you get a discount. So every time you place an order, you're going to get starting at 20% discount, and that can go up. And you are required to do a $300 or $100 a month. However, if you start in August, then that does not come into play until you'll have until the end of December before you would need to purchase at least $300 in product to continue with your discount. And that would be between October, November, and December. So the last quarter of the month is when you would have to place a total of $300, and it can be anywhere, however you want to do it, spread out in those 3 months. And if you don't, then you just go back and being a happy shopper, and you just don't get a discount. So you'll continue to order your product through myself if I'm your demonstrator or whoever. But if you decide to continue, then you will continue to receive a discount. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to give you some more information on that as well. And then the other thing we still have going is our Perfect Partners. Now the Perfect Partners, I probably failed to mention this. This is the one that's not with Celebration. These are stamp sets that are in the holiday catalog and the annual catalog that do not have die sets with them. So they have partnered them up with each with a set of dies, so that during the month of September you can purchase these as a bundle and receive a 10% discount. I'm gonna flip the camera down and let you know, let you see this. And before I get started with that, I just want to go ahead and, as you come on, please make sure that you let me know that you're here. I'll come back and look at the comments and everything later this evening or tomorrow. And if you're new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. And please come back again when I'm live, and hopefully you'll learn something from me this evening. So let me go ahead and flip the camera down, because I want to show you. Now these are the Perfect Partners, and I have mentioned this obviously every week this month, but you've got several products that are in the annual catalog or the holiday catalog, and you can go to my blog at shallwestamp.com, and if you're on my newsletter, then you'll have access to download that. If not, you can go to Stampin' Up's site and you can look at these as well. And then the other thing is that Celebration is almost coming to an end. So for every $50 that you spend, you get to choose a $50 item, and they have added 10 additional items that are here, either $50 value or $100 value, and it tells you right on the form. So again, if you go to the website, you'll be able to see those items as well. So when you place your order, make sure that you choose whichever item that you qualify for. And then the last thing from me is when you spend $50 through my online store, I will email you a tutorial bundle, and for this month of August, it's going to be 33 tutorials that are made by myself and 32 other demonstrators. We collaborate on this and put it together to give more options to you to use as inspiration, and just a way that you can see how other people stamp and give you great ideas. All right, so that is that. So let's get started. We've got a lot to cover, and we may go over our time of an hour, so just bear with me. But that's what it may happen. So anyways, here we go. We're going to start with, and I'm pulling out two of some of the items that we haven't used in a while. And this is our garden birdhouses. And this is such a cute stamp set. It's got 3 birdhouses, and we've used this before, and I'm sure you all have too. But I thought it would be fun to bring this back. So I'm going to use this stamp set, and we're going to work with doing a fun fold. And this is using the Starry Sky designer paper, fresh freesia, and we're also using the butterfly wishes, I think it is. Hang on, let me look it up. Hang on, I got it right here. Butterfly, yes, sorry, Butterfly Kisses. It's a 6x6 series of paper, and it's got gorgeous color, and it's all of all of it is our in colors. The majority of it is, okay? So Butterfly Kisses, that's the name of the paper that we're going to be using. So one of the things that you can do with this card, now this is how it's going to work. You're going to open it up like this. Now, you have the option, I've made this into a gift card. So if you're sending this for a birthday, you could put a gift card in there, or you could put a check. I don't think you want to mail cash, but you could. Or if you don't want to make it as a gift card, then you're just going to leave this at a 3x4. So you just won't cut out the circle. Okay, so I thought it'd be something different, and with the holidays approaching, you can change this up to a holiday card, whatever works for you. But tonight we're going to do this using our birdhouse stamp set. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to recreate and use the same, whoops, hang on, my cord fell down. We're going to use the same cardstock, but we're going to change up the designer series paper, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with that. So I'm going to bring it in. Your cardstock's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, okay? And then we're going to fold this in half, or score it in half, however you want to look at it. We're going to do that. So let me go ahead and get in here. And it's kind of hard because I'm actually in the daylight. And you know me, I have to fold it in half. Now, what we're going to do is, even though we're going to fold it in half, which is 5 1/2, right? Because that's half of 11. We're going to come in here with our paper trimmer, and we're going to cut 2 3/4 off one of the sides, okay? So let's bring this in. I'm going to turn it this way, and we're going to line this up at 2 3/4, and then we're going to get rid of, we keep that piece. We'll use it not for this card, but you can use it for something else, okay? So this piece is going to go away, and we'll just set that aside. And that's going to be, or you could just cut this at, I think it's 8 1/2 by, yeah, I think it's 8 1/2 inches if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, all right, so you're going to cut off 2 3/4, and then that's going to give you this fold. And I know the paper's dark, but you can see that. So we're going to turn it this way, and that's how we're going to make it work, okay? So then we're going to come in with our paper from the Butterfly Kisses, and I thought I'd use this one for something different, and this has got our Parakeet Party, Calypso Coral, and Fresh Freesia. This piece is 4 by 5 1/4, so we're going to go ahead and attach this to the inside of our card. And you can create this, you know, this is make a great holiday card. You could do this as a holiday card, a birthday card, really, it can be used for anything, okay? So whatever you want your card to be, for whatever occasion, all right? And we're just going to lay that there, get the glue off that I put too much on. All right, so there's that. Now on the front of the card, I'm going to go ahead and I've cut a piece of the this design, which is the check, the plaid, I guess, and it's got polka dots. I'm going to do the polka dots, and this is measured at 4 inches by 2 1/2. So 4 inches by 2 1/2. And if you see my little holder there, that's from one of my Facebook friends, Karen Joe. She's in Bradenton, Florida, and she was kind enough to send that to me. Wasn't that nice of her? And sent me a really cute card that she made for me using her scraps, which is what a great idea. So we're going to set that right there, all right? So there's that part of the card. Now we're going to come in with a piece of fresh freesia, and this is 3 1/4, so it's 3 1/4 by 8 1/2. So 8.5 means we're going to fold it in half and or score it. So if you want to score it at 4.25, but you know me, I'm just going to fold it over and we'll burnish it. Okay. So this is a really pretty easy card. All right. Not a lot of, well, there is stamping because we've got to do the birdhouses, but they won't take that long. Okay. So this is our card. So what we're going to do is now we have two pieces, at least I hope we do, of, we've got a 3x4. Let me just confirm that. This is 3 inches by 4, and that's going to go up here on the top. Now this is where you can write your message, and we'll go ahead and adhere this on the top of the card, and then we're going to go ahead and make this a gift card as well, because you never have enough, right? Gift cards, gift card holder, I should say. So let's go ahead and place this right here. All right, so we've got that down. Okay, and now we're going to take this paper. So now if you didn't want this to be a gift card holder, then you just place this right here. This is the same size, 3x4. But I'm going to take, and you can use any circle punch you want. This is a 2.5 inch, and it's a little, this is our retired punch. But anything just enough to cut a little, so they can get your hands, you know, a little piece that you can get your hands into to pull out the gift card, all right? So I'm going to try to get that even, and I'm just going to pop that out, and then that gives us our little piece to show that it's a gift card inside or a check or whatever. Now, the one thing that we're going to do is we don't really want to put a lot of adhesive on here because we want to be able to get that gift card in, right? So I'm just going to take my adhesive and I'm just going to run it. Let me get my craft mat. And if you've heard me say this, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. If you don't have one of these in your room, craft room, you need to have one. Now, you could always make this side of the paper. You know, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to put a small strip of the adhesive, the liquid glue right here. Now, you could use seal or tear and tape or whatever. I'm just going to make a small line because I want to make sure that we have room to get our gift card in. I'm not putting anything at the top, okay, or on the inside because obviously we want our card to slide in. So I'm just going to take this and we're going to lay that right here. And then that's where our gift card is going to go. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Let that sit for just a minute. We're going to put that over here. Now we're coming in with another 3x4 inch, and this is where we're going to do our stamping. So we're going to pull in our birdhouses, and I've cut a scalloped rectangle die, so we're going to use this for our sentiment. And I'm going to come in with my, whoops, I might get the stuff off the thing. We're going to come in with our houses. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I want to place my house in the center. Bear with me 1 minute. I'm going to get these. What are we going to do here? Hang on. Do I want to say, no, we'll do birthday wishes. I think I've already got that on the thing. I hope I do. Oh, no, I don't. It's right here. Okay, so let's pull out our houses. So we have 3 birdhouses, right? So I'm going to keep them just like I've done this one. I want this one in the center because he's a little bit different. So I'm going to put him first, and then I'll adjust these two accordingly. And you can do it however you want, but that's if you want. If you're asking why I'm doing what I'm doing, that is why. So let's go ahead and put our round birdhouse, and we're going to ink this up in our Memento Black. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to place this right towards the top because I want him to be more of the focal point. All right, so we're going to stamp that one. And I forgot my my mat. Oh, well, my ink mat. I guess we'll, hopefully we won't need anything. I'll have to get up and get it. And then we're going to go ahead and come back with this one. And this one I'm going to ink up. And I'm going to put that on the right-hand side. And I want him to be probably right about there. So I'm just going to stamp him right there. You can tell I inked up my black marker. All right, so there's that one. We'll just put these guys off to the side and I'll clean them when we get done. And then here's my other one. So we're going to go ahead and put him on here, and we're going to ink this up. And this stamp set you can find in the annual catalog, and it's Garden Birdhouses. And then this one, I'm going to put him a little bit down. I'll make him a little bit lower than the other one. And however you want to do it, it doesn't matter. All right, so we have those there, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to take these off, is we're going to bring in our pole that they're sitting on, right? The bird pole, or I don't know, whatever it's called. Okay, so we're going to come in with, let me get my scrap paper. Hang on a second, because I'm going to be stamping off. All right, so I'm going to line up my birdhouse. That one's really dark, isn't it? And I'm just going to lay this, and hopefully I've got this up here because I can't see. I'm going to place this one first and set that down. Okay, and then we'll come back and we'll do this one. Pretty good considering I can't see what I'm doing here. And then we'll stamp the pole right there. And you can color these however you want. I've colored them with the colors in mind with my blends. So I'm going to use the stamping blends for this. All right, so let's move that ink out of the way. Now I'm going to use is fresh freesia and oh, I got to get my, hang on, I got to get, oh, wait a minute, what did I do with it? Hold on. Oh, there it is right here. I'm going to Calypso Coral and fresh freesia. So I think what I'm going to do is color, let's do coral. I think I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to do the top of this birdhouse, and it's this one's a little bit more blurrier because I inked up my Memento ink and it's a little dark. So let's do this one in Calypso. So I'm going to do dark on the roof itself. Oops, put the wrong one. I got the wrong end. Hopefully these blends, some of these I need to reorder because they're getting really old. And not that they don't work, they do. It's just trying to open them, they're becoming harder and harder. So I'm going to do the dark Calypso Coral. I'm just going to make this whole piece a little bit dark looking. And we'll cover up the little white spots. And then I'm going to come down here and do this little bottom part in the dark Calypso. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then I'm going to bring in what color do I, let's do the pole in the Calypso, and I'll do this one darker as well. Probably could have done the light, but we'll just do dark. It's okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and color all of these, or we're going to do Calypso. Okay. All right, so we're going to do that. Now I'm going to come back with my let's see, what light Calypso. So we're going to do light Calypso. Bear with me, hopefully he doesn't come apart. All right, so we're going to do our light Calypso, and I'm just going to color this in, and this really shouldn't take that long because it's not that much coloring to do. So we'll just come in here with the light. I'm probably not going to do any shading because I've got the dark on the outside of it, and which is fine. We'll just do this, and we'll put this here, and then I'm going to come back with our light, I don't want to do dark. I think I'll do the light fresh freesia, and we're going to do that on the inside right here, and then we're going to top off the top of it with the light fresh freesia. Okay, now we could have done dark, but I think with that, I think that will look fine. All right, so now the next one, we're going to do this one. So I'm going to do kind of opposite of how I've done these. So I think since this one is light coral, I think I'm going to go ahead and make this house fresh freesia, and then I'll do the roof in coral. So let's go in and use our fresh freesia on this house, and we'll go ahead and get this one colored. And we'll go ahead and color, and I'll come back with the dark and do a little bit of shading, and we'll bring this one down here. And this is, I mean, really is this card here is easy. The other one's easy also. It's just a little bit more complicated. Does that make sense? This doesn't sound easy, does it? All right, so that's this one. And I don't know if we really need, we'll come in and give it a little bit of shading. Let's come in with our dark. And we'll just come in right where the lines are, and we'll just do some dark underneath, just to give it a little bit of shading, and put a little bit there. All right. Okay, and then we're going to come back with our light Calypso, and we're going to do the roof. I'm going to do this roof in light Calypso. And we'll just do like that. And I'm going to do this little A-frame here. And I think the door, yeah, and the door I'll probably do a little bit of the dark. And then we'll just, and this is pretty easy because it's pretty much straight lines. All right, and we'll come in here. And you know, if you're not sure, just make little short sweeps. It's fine. And then here, oops, we got to do this one right here. Just checking to make sure. And let's do our door because our door is going to coordinate. So I'm going to do that in light, and I may come back. The dark is really dark, so I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want it to, let me put some more right here. All right, so I think that looks good. Okay, so we have orange Calypso coral there, so let's flip it around, and now let's do this roof. We're going to do this one in coral, because, well, let's see. Do we want to do coral? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the house in coral. Let's do the house in coral, and then we'll do the roof in fresh freesia. So let's come in. I'm gonna come back with the dark, and I'm gonna hit these spots right here where the artist is. So we're gonna go ahead and just color this, and we'll come back and add some dark for shading. And I'm just kind of doing swirls just to get it done faster. Okay, and then we'll do, let's see, what did I do that one as? Did I color him different? Nope, I colored him the same, but I think I'll do light since the pole is dark. All right, let's come back with some dark and just do a little bit of shading. And I'm just going to go where the artist has got these little dots here to kind of give it that shaded look. Do a little bit right there, and then we might do some under the roof where it's going to maybe have a little bit of shade. And some right there. All right, and then we'll come back with our light again. We're just going to do a little quick color to blend that together. We'll do a little blending here and a little bit right here. Okay, and then we'll do our roof in the fresh freesia as well. And we can do dark, so we may come in and do, I'll do partly, and then we'll come back with the dark and get that. Okay, and we'll come back with the dark, and he is kind of dark though, isn't he? So we're going to do that, and we're going to color these a little shade, give it a little shaded on these, what are they called? What are those roof things? Tiles or whatever. All right, so let's get that done. All right, so there's that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is stamp our grass. So we're going to pull in our parakeet party. Let's move these guys out of the way. And I've got to find my grass, so give me one moment. Where is my grass? Where's the grass? Did I take him out? Let's see, maybe I left the grass in there. Yep, the grass is in. Nope, that's not the grass. There's the grass. Okay, so we're going to borrow one of these little blocks here. So we're going to just take this little piece of grass that's in the book, in the stamp set, and we're just going to come in, and I'm just going to stamp grass and make sure that I'm coming off the paper, and then I might come up a little bit to make it look like it's taller. And I'll get a little bit closer. So however you want to do this, I'm just going to come in and stamp it, kind of twist it around a little bit so it doesn't look like it's all going in the same direction, because you know how grass is, right? And here we're just going to come down and fill that in, and I'll come up here just a little bit. And we'll just add a little bit right there. Okay. All right, I think that looks good. So let's go ahead, and I might have to get up and clean my little block here because I think I need that for another stamp, but anyways, that's all right. Okay, so we have that done. Now the only thing we need to do is we want to go ahead and we're going to attach this to our card. Now the first thing though, before I do that, let me see what I did here. Oh, I wrapped it around. Okay, let's go ahead and let me think about this. let's go ahead and attach this. We're going to use, I thought I'd use the Parakeet Party ribbon. So we're going to go ahead and tie, and that's probably a lot, but we're going to go ahead and tie a bow. Hopefully I don't mess this up. And I'm just going to go ahead and tie it, because once you get it tied, then we can slide it around where we want it. And then I'll adjust the tightness by adding adhesive to the back of this card. So that's another trick to keep in mind. And you know me, I seem to be all thumbs when it comes to tying bows with you guys. And I don't know if it's my fingernails or what the wild world of sports it is, but I think that's my bow right there. That's the piece I need. All right, there we go. All right, so we're gonna pull that tight, and then I am going to just loosen it just a little bit. Okay, and then we'll tighten it again. And then I do not have my ribbon scissors, but we're gonna go ahead and snip that. And then what I'm going, whoops, I got glue on my fingers. Okay, don't do what I just did. All right, so now we need to come back in and stamp our sentiment. And we're gonna make this a birthday card. So I'm gonna borrow one of the other little stamps, and I have one right here, never mind. All right, so we're gonna stamp, and I'm gonna stamp that in black as well. Okay, so let's just do that. And it's gonna be birthday wishes. Now, normally I don't stamp on here. I stamp first and then cut, but because of the other card, I think it's going to take a lot of time. I wanted to make sure I had this one that didn't take that long. So, all right, so we're going to put that over there, and then we'll go ahead and bring this in. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that right there for now. I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. Let me make sure it's dry. It should be, but it was a little thick, so I don't want to smear it. So let's put 3 dimensionals on here. All right, so, all right. Hopefully that's dry. All right, so let's slide, I'm going to slide this ribbon up, and then we'll slide it down once we get our sentiment where we want it. And I don't really want it, this one I should have done higher, because obviously it's going to cover up part of my birdhouse. I should have put both of these up higher. Look at that. So anyways, I guess we're going to put it right about here, right on the edge. You know what? We can come off of the edge a little. So let's just do that. And we're good. All right, I'm going to slide this down over top. And then we will get this adhered, and I've got it tight enough that it should be fine, so I'm just going to lift it up and slide it over. And with the scallops, that's going to help hold it in place too, right? So there you go, there's that. So now we're going to just add our adhesive to this. Now what I was going to show you is if you've gotten your ribbon a little too loose, you can put some of your seal right here and then pull your ribbon tight, and that will help to hold it in place. All right, so we're going to add this right on our flat piece, and I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. All right, and then that's the inside of our card. So now what we want to do is we're going to come in, and we're going to lay this here, and we want to make sure that we've got it centered, right? So I'm looking at that, and I think that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive, and then I'm going to hold on to this before I lay it down, just to make sure I do have it in the right place. And then we'll finish up the card with some of the dots. All right, so we're going to lay this. I'm going to hold this up for just a minute so I can get a better handle on where I want it. And I think that looks good. So I think I'm going to go ahead and lay it down. If I wasn't holding this and doing it on camera, I would, there we go. All right, so there's that. So we're just going to give it a good push. All right, there's that. And then we're going to add our gift card. So we're just going to, and you may have to use your tweezers or something just to lift this up, just to get it in there. But there you go. We've got our gift card in there. And there's our card. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to use our matte decorative dots, which are in the some of the end colors. So let's pull some of these out. And let's apply a couple of these. And I think what we'll do, let's do some, we'll do a large, whoops, yeah, I got that one. Let's do a Parakeet party there. And let's do one of the, I don't know if this might be orchid, but we're going to do it anyways. And since we have more of the green, we don't have corals, I'm going to go ahead and do another big one. And we'll place him right about, I probably should have put that one over there. We'll put it right here. All right, so we've got our dots on the top, the decorative dots. And these are in the annual catalog. All right, and there is our card. What do you think about that? Isn't that cute? So it's birthday wishes. Open it up and write your message up here, and then there's your gift card. All right, so there's that card. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next. So give me 1 second. Let me move this because I got a lot of stamping that we're going to be doing here. So give me 1 second. Hope you enjoyed that card. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next card, hang on a second, I got to get my, we're going to use the, oh, did I bring the stamp set over, I think? Oh, yeah, I did. All right, so let's move this. We're done with those. I'll put that over there. If you could see my, my studio here, y'all would be laughing because it's such a mess. All right, we are going to be working with, of course, we're going to use a little mini, now the dog is going to start, it's getting close to dinner time, so she thinks it's time to eat, and it's not. In her world, it is. All right, we're going to be using Nuts About Squirrels. Now, with fall coming, I thought this would be great. Again, I'm trying to go back to use stuff that we have in our supplies that we haven't been using. And then we're going to work with the layering circles. We're going to use the third from the largest circle. All right. And this is the card that we're going to be making. Whoopsie. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. And I'll give you the measurements for this. But if you have to, just come back and watch the video, and then you'll get it all. So you don't really need to write the stuff down right now. Excuse me. Just come back and watch. Okay. So here's the card. And I'm using the paper from the celebration paper. So again, you have until the end of this month to purchase this. Whoops, there goes my paper on the floor. The Rings of Love paper. And this is one of the pieces that's in here. And this is the paper. Isn't this gorgeous? And there it is with the, I thought the acorns were perfect. So that's what we're going to use. Throw that over there. And then we're going to open it up. And this is where they call it the theater style card. And watch this. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Isn't that clever? So you close it. And then we're going to open it. All right, so that's what we're going to make this evening. Okay, so let's get started. Now we've got some, was going to do the coloring ahead of time. I thought, nope, we'll just do it and see what happens. So we've got, it's 30 minutes, so we'll be good to go. All right, I am using, let me give you the measurements. I'm using soft suede, 5.5 by 8.5. And then we're going to cut 2 pieces because we're going to do a flap. So the first thing that we're going to do on this is we're going to take this and we're going to score it at 2 1/8 inches. Okay, so instead of 5.5 or 4 1/4, we're gonna score this at 2 1/8, and we're only going to do one side, and I'll show you why. All right, because the other way. All right, so there we're at our 8. So let's go ahead and score that. This way we can fold it and make sure that our edges meet up with each side rather than scoring it and it might not work, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and fold this in and we're gonna burnish it, give it a good burnish. Now you can score it on the 8th if you want, that's fine, because then you can adjust it. This way, and this is a little crooked, so let me move my paper over just a minute. I just realized, just a second here, I moved it, it's off just a little bit, okay. All right, so I've got it lined up, and then all you want to do is pull this one over, and you're going to fold it, okay? So you want it buttoned right up to this one. So we're going to butt it up, and then we're going to do a burnish on that as well, okay? All right, so that's our card base, just like that. All right, this one looks a little crooked, doesn't it? It's hanging down. Okay, so that's the card base. That's soft suede. Then you're going to come in, and you're going to cut whatever paper you're using, designer paper, you're going to cut coordinating cardstock, okay? So the front, I'm using crushed curry, which is one of the colors, and this piece is, you're going to make 2 of these. They're 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Oh, hang on a minute. I don't think that's right. Hold on. pattern. Yes, I'm sorry. 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and then this one is 1 5/8 by 5 inches. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and adhere these, and if you're using a pattern like this case, it's the acorns. I want to make sure my acorns are going in the right direction, right? So not that I couldn't turn it over, but so we're going to go ahead and attach these to these flaps here. Go ahead and get that done. All right, so let's go ahead and lay that on here. All right, and then we're going to lay this one on here. All right. I love this card. What do y'all think? Make sure you leave me some comments and let me know if you like this card or not. It really is easy once you get the measurements down. Okay, so those are our 2 pieces that will go on our flaps right here. And we can go ahead and add those now if you'd like. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and add these. All right. And then we'll have that part done. Now we're going to do the coloring last. I just, for whatever reason, I probably could have done it now, but we'll just do it last. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and add this one here. I love this paper. I haven't really used it a lot. I guess I better start using it since celebrations can be over with. I'll probably do it for my One Sheet Wonder. I have a subscription. I'm sure y'all aren't aware of that because I don't share that, which I probably should. I've got a subscription service that you can sign up for that you will receive a monthly template with cards that's showing you how to use that template, and then I demonstrate how to cut it, and then the cards as well. Okay, so there's the front of our card. Now the next thing we've got, let me give you these measurements and we're going to do some more cutting. We have oops, I'm missing a piece of berry vanilla. Hold on a minute. I knew something was missing. It's looking naked. Hold on a minute. I don't know what happened to it. Berry vanilla, where are you? Oh, you know what? I've got one right here. I think this will work. Hang on a second. Sorry, didn't mean to hold you up. I knew there was going to be something I'm missing. All right, we've got to get our paper trimmer out. We are going to cut. Okay, so the next thing for this is the we'll do this later. All right, so now you're going to have a piece of coordinating cardstock, which I'm using the crushed curry, and this is going to be 3 inches by 5 1/4, 5 1/2. I'm sorry. So this is 3 by 5, and then this is going to be 2 3/4 by 5. Wait a minute. Did I say 5? Did I cut this at 5? I'm sorry. This is 5 1/2. 5 1/2. Pardon me. And then this is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Now we need a piece of berry vanilla, which is going to be, or white, whichever you're using. It's going to be the same size as your pattern paper. So we're going to cut this at 2 3/4. Oops, I forgot to put my microphone back on. 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, right? Let's make sure. Yeah, 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Just want to make sure. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cut. 2 3/4. 2 3/4 by, this should be 5 1/4, right about there, right? And we'll cut that. Okay, so these pieces we don't need. All right, now, so the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and attach this to the inside of our card, and we want to do this in the center, okay? So this, we want to make sure we get it as close to the center as possible. And what's going to happen, this is going to cover it up. So you want to make sure you've got it pretty accurate, okay? Well, actually, these two are going to cover it up. So let's go ahead and apply this to the inside of the card. And then we're going to, okay. All right, so we're going to put this on the inside. And we're going to try to get it as centered as possible. Now, if you want to be really accurate, then you just measure it. But I'm just going to place it on here where I think it's close to the center and slightly move it over a little bit. And I think that probably looks good. Okay? All right, so we're going to lay that there. And again, you're going to need a piece of the coordinating cardstock, and then this is 1/4 of an inch down, and we're going to go ahead and adhere these two together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this, and we're going to use that circle, And bear with me just one second. Let me get this in here. All right, so we're going to line this on here, make sure my acorns are going up in the right direction. All right, so again, it's 3 inches by 5 1/2, is that right? And then 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, now we're going to take our 3rd largest, so pull out my circles, and I think it's going to be this one. I think it should be this one right here. So that's, wait, that's the 2nd one, so it's going to be this one, if I'm not mistaken. I think that should be right. So we've got 1, 2, and that's 3. So we're going to use the 3rd largest of the circle dies. Hang on a minute. I don't want them to fall all over the place. Okay, so all right, now what we're going to do is we're going to lay this on here, and we're going to run this through the die cutting machine. And you want to have it centered. You can have it a little bit off centered if you want, but you don't want it up really high. You don't want it really low. So I'm just going to make mine centered, just like that. Okay, so we're going to bring in the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, which is going to be noisy here, but bear with me. And so we're going to lay this on here in our plate number 2. And then we're going to lay this on top. And I'm going to run this through a couple of times because I want to make sure that we get it cut through. All right, so I think I've got that pretty centered. And I've got my paper going in the right direction. So I'm going to lay this plate on top. And I'm going to hold it. And you can use your tape if you want to make sure it doesn't slide. But I hold it down with my hand once till I get it to go through, and then I know it's not going to slide. So I'm going to run it through this way, but because I'm cutting through 2 pieces of paper or cardstock, I'm going to do it 4 times. I'm just going to go up and then come back, and that should be fine. I might be doing overkill here, but I'd rather be safe so I don't have to stop and then redo all of this again. Okay, so it cuts right out. All right, and then this, you can save that and use that for something else. That could be another focal point on another card that you can make, right? All right, so let's move all of this out of the way. We're going to keep this. Set him over here. All right, so now we'll put that over there. We'll use that for something. Might be another card we see, right? Now I've got my thing all crooked. Okay, so now we're going to come back with this. We're going to put dimensionals. Now, the only thing you want to do with this is you want to put your dimensionals only in the corners. All right, so we're going to put one on each top of the 4 corners, okay? Put one there, and we're going to put one there. All right, and we're going to take this off, and we're going to place this on the inside of our card. All right, so let me just get these over here. Okay. All right, and let me get that piece of, all right, I got my acorns going in the right direction. So I'm going to lay this down over top of this, and bear with me, I need to stand up. All right, so we're going to lay this right on top, and this is 5 1/2, right? So it should cover all the way to the top. Let me make sure, hang on a minute. Because the other one I did, I had it cut. I just want to make sure I've got it. And you want to make sure you're covering that vanilla or your white piece. I'm going to lay that there and check before I push down that we're not over. And I'm over just a little bit, but that's fine. I'm not going to, I could probably, let me lift this up and let me see if I can lift this up. And then, no, I'm going to leave it. I'll trim that. It's over just, you know how sometimes you can cut and it's a little bit off? So let's see if we can trim this without causing too much of an issue. Let me see here. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it. I don't think it's going to be that, well, it will be that noticeable. I'll cut it later, okay? So that way it's not messed up. Okay, so now we have this, all right? We're setting that aside. Now, you're going to have 2 pieces of your coordinating cardstock, and these are cut at 3 1/2 by 4. Okay, so you're going to have 2 of these at 3 1/2 by 4. Now, what we need to do on the 4-inch side, we're going to score. Now, let's make sure we've got the 4-inch side. So on the 4-inch side, we want to score a 1/2 inch. Okay, so we're going to come over here to our, there's our 1 inch. Can you see? This is our 1 inch here, 3/4, and this is a 1/2. So we're going to score this at a 1/2 inch. You want to do that just on one side. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. This is the 4-inch, so we want to move this over to a 1/2. And we're going to score that as well. Okay? Now, the next step is we're going to put some tear and tape on this. And the reason we're going to do tear and tape is because this is going to be a mechanism that's going to keep moving. So we want to make sure that we've got it nice and tight, that it's not going to come off. Now let me bring in, because we're going to do some coloring here in a few minutes too. Let me put my little blocks right there. All right, so let's fold these, and then we're going to burnish these with your bone folder. That looks a little crooked, doesn't it? I better redo that one. Let me look and see why that one looks crooked. All right, let's do our burnish here with the bone folder. What in the world? Let me see. This one does look crooked. Hang on a minute. Let's see what happened here with this little boy. What happened? Let me do it this way. All right, we've got 4 inches there. And we want to come over a 1/2 inch, which is right there, unless my paper is cut crooked. 1/2 inch, which would put us at 3 1/2. So you could line it up at 3 1/2. And yep, that's right. I think oh, it is. It was off just a little bit. So let's bend it, and we'll get that. Yeah, there we go. We'll get it. There we go. It was off just a tad. So that little bit right there could make a big difference, right? All right, so we're going to give this a good burnish. Okay, now we're going to add our tear and tape. And this is going to allow us to place this, and you'll see what we're going to do here. Now we're going to put the tear and tape on here first, and then we've got to do a little bit of measuring. So you need to have a pencil and a ruler, okay? So we're going to lay that there. All right. We're going to put the tear and tape right there. Okay. Now, if you have your grid paper, you want to line up your stamp at this cardstock at 1 3/4 of an inch, and you can use your grid paper. Let's do it. Let's see. Let's do it this way. It's gonna be a little weird. All right, I've got my 1 inch there, right? So I'm lining this up. Can you all see that? Let me move in just a little bit. Let's see if we can get this in without me. Let's see. Okay, so we're lining this up right on the mark of the grid paper and right at the bottom. So what we want to do is we're going to come in, we've got that straight, we're going to come in with our pencil and a ruler. We're going to come over to 1 1/2. All right, so there's, let's see, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, and this is 3/4, right? 1 3/4. So we're going to line our ruler up right there. I'm trying to keep this straight. So we want our ruler right at the 1 3/4 mark, okay? And then we're going to come over, want this lined up right at the edge of that, and we want to make sure that we're straight on our paper. Hang on. Okay, and we can use this line right here as a guide, right? So we're going to line it up at 1 3/4. You're going to make a dot at the 2 inch mark, okay? And you're going to then from that, you're going to take and just make a line from that dot to the corner. Okay, and the one's going outward, so we don't want it going towards the glue. We're going to do it there, and then we're going to turn this, and we're going to have it come over here as well. Okay, so we're going to line it up at our dot, and this is just to keep my line going straight. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this one. So again, we're going to line this up, line it up on your grid paper. You want to come over to your 1 3/4, right, which is right there. So we're going to put our ruler right below that, and we're going to line it up on the edge of our cardstock, 1 3/4, and then come over at the 2 inch, make a dot, and then we're going to cut out from there to the corner, and then from here to this corner. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut those pieces out. So if you've got larger, I'm going to use my paper snips. I'm going to try to cut on the outside of that line so we don't have to worry about erasing it. So I'm just going to cut up to that dot, and then we're going to remove this triangle, if you will. And you're going to do that on both pieces of your cardstock. Okay? And then we'll do this one. And if you have larger scissors, obviously that would probably work much better. Now I have a little bit of the pencil mark there, which I didn't cut, so you can just erase that off so that it's not going to be seen a lot, but it may be seen. Okay, so these pieces, we're just going to throw those away. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to attach these, and this is what's going to make your opening for your mechanism. You're going to line this up. You're going to slide this under here, and that's why we cut this. We're going to slide that, and we're going to line this up right near the fold line, but not on the fold line, right? Because we want to be able to get our card to close without anything interfering with it, all right? So we want to make sure that's probably centered, so you're going to have to kind of do a guesstimate of your circle. So let's see. Yeah, I think so, because we don't want to go up too much further. All right, so we're going to go like that. So I think that looks good. So now we're going to peel off our adhesive. Let me get my tips. There we go. It's easier to use one of the things. All right, so we're going to pull that off, and we think we've got it close enough, right? If we're right on that, we want to get a little bit off of that fold, so we can get a little bit of movement. We want to make sure it's straight. Yeah, that should work. So we're going to fold this down and go ahead and adhere that, okay? All right, so there's the first step. Now watch, see how that works? And then you can give it a good crease. All right, now on this one, we are going to, this one can either go on top or on the bottom, it doesn't matter, but just make sure. Now see how I've got one underneath and then one's on the top over here, it's on the top. It doesn't matter, but you got to have them be either both pieces on the top or on the bottom. Either way, whatever works for you. Let me, okay, so what I'm gonna do is this one's under, okay, I can see that one's under and this is under, right? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this one pushed in as well. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, see how the point's sticking out? I don't know if you can see this with the dark. My point's sticking out, so I need to move this up to make sure that it's even so it doesn't show, all right? So I've got that. I've got this. I can come back just a little bit with this, and I think that's good for closing, all right? And our little points aren't showing. So let's go ahead and take this adhesive off. All right, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold the card down. All right, and now we've got our card. Now, here's the thing. See how these my little pieces right here are sticking out, my little tippy things? We're going to cut those off because that's preventing it from going all the way. So just hold, and it's the ones that are on top, okay? So you're not going to mess with anything else, just these two right here. So just come up here and just snip them off. Let me turn my scissors this way. So you just want to just cut off the little tips there. All right, and then we have our opening, closing. Isn't that cute? Now, we need to stamp our sentiment. So normally we would stamp before we cut, right? But in this case, we needed to do this so we could get our sentiment in the right spot. So what we're going to do is we are going to work with, let me see, hang on a minute. We're going to get our sentiment, and I'm going to use this as a get well card, and I'm going to pull in, and I'm going to use soft suede because that's the color that is a base of our cards. I'm going to work with that, and then I ink this up. Now, this is where you just have to be really careful because once you push this down, you can't change it, right? And this should fit. So I'm just going to look at it closely. Make sure I've got it in here and got it somewhat straight, and then I'll push down. Okay. All right, so hope you're feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So let's close that up, put that over here. All right, so there we go. We'll have our card, and then it opens like that, right? Isn't that cute? All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the front of our card. So we are going to take a piece of our, again, this is going to be your color, whatever color base you use here, your coordinating color. You want this, and this piece is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then I picked, you want to pick another color that coordinates in your paper. So I'm using the Poppy Parade, and this piece is 2 3/4 by 4. So that's going to go on there. And then this piece is what we're going to stamp And you know what? Hang on a minute. Why does mine look smaller? Hold on a second. Well, it's the same size. It sure looks smaller. This piece here is very vanilla, which I'm using. It's 2.5 by 3 3/4, right? Okay, so before we adhere anything, we're going to do some stamping. So we're going to stamp our squirrel. And we're going to use the squirrel that is holding the acorn, right? Since we're using acorn paper. So let me pull in. Now this is a 2-step stamping. So for those of you that may be new, 2-step stamping, you'll see exactly what that is in just a moment. I'm going to borrow one of these little other blocks here. Give me just a second so I don't lose all my pieces here. Okay, let me get my colors out. We're using a lot of ink in this one. Okay, so we're going to use our soft suede, and we're going to stamp, first of all, we're going to stamp the first part of our squirrel, and that's this one, in Memento Black. So we're going to stamp him in Memento Black, and then we're going to do some coloring. We're not going to do some coloring, we're going to do some other stamping. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stamp him on here, and I think we'll put him, let's come up a little bit. Let's do him right about there. All right, and then we're going to do our sentiment. We're going to use the hey there stamp. So we're going to go ahead, let's stamp that one and get that. We're going to put that at the top to kind of fill in that area as well. So let's stamp that right about there. Okay, see, you can tell I really inked that little sucker up, huh? All right, let's cover up this ink, get this out of the way. We're done with that. All right, now we're going to come in. Let's move him out of the way. We're going to come in with the body, all right? Now this we're going to use, since our card's soft suede, I'm going to go ahead and do soft suede for this guy. So let's go ahead and bring in our soft suede, and we're going to ink this up. And this is really pretty easy to get it to coordinate. If you just follow the lines, I got to stand up now. So when you hover, I hover over, and I start with his ears. Because I want to make sure I get the ears right. And once you get the ears lined up, then you can tell the hands are right, the head's right, and the tail, you just might have to make it just a tad, see, the tail's off a little bit. So I think that looks good right about there, hopefully. All right, so we're going to stamp that, let that sit for a second, get our ink to transfer. That's not too bad. Pretty good, huh? All right, now we're going to come back in and move him off to the side. See, there are a lot of stamps here. We're going to come in with our, this is the acorn. Now, let me take this off because I need this stamp here. Hang on a second. This one has, if you haven't seen this, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show it to you or not, but let's see. If you look at this. Why is that so sticky? All right, so let me see if I can show you guys. Let me get a piece of paper here. Do you see, I don't know, can you see there's a little, that's his hand right there. Can you see that little mark? I don't know if y'all can see that or not. That gives you the indication that you got to shoot for the hand. That's where it will go when you're coloring the bottom part of the acorn. Sorry about that. My control cord. The dog's starting to bug me. She's asking about where's dinner. All right. So now we're going to take crumb cake and we're going to stamp that onto the bottom part of the acorn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line that up with his little hand, hopefully. And if you line it up just right, it's gonna, it should fall into place, which it doesn't look like it does, but it actually does, believe it or not. So we're gonna line that up with his hand. See, I always thought it should go like that, but that doesn't look right. So let's see, hang on a minute, let's see, because this has got that little dippy-do right there. So that's gonna go right, let's try that. All right, so there's his acorn. Close enough. We got a little bit. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to come back, and the top of the acorn, we're going to do that in early espresso. And now I got to locate what I did. Here he is. I'm switching all these pieces all around, so I'll put that on the stamp case. All right, so we're going to do early espresso, and here's the little piece right here that you're going to stamp the top of the acorn so it's darker. And hopefully we've got that lined up right. We'll stamp that down. Oh, you know what I did? Oh, that looks like I should stamp that off because that looks too dark for his acorn, but that's okay. All right, so there's our squirrel. Now, it still seems a little empty there, so let's go ahead. Let me put that on there. And we're going to come in with some twigs. There's this tree here, this like tree piece, and then we've got the veins of a leaf, and then this. So this is what we're going to use. We're using almost every stamp in here. So we're going to come in with this guy, and I am going to, bear with me 1 minute, I'm going to take some blocks off, stamps off one of the blocks because I need one of these little tiny ones. All right, so let's come in and I'm going to do this in, let's do early espresso. Let's see if this is going to be it might be too dark. Let's see. Let me just stamp it and see. I think that'll be fine. All right, we're going to do this little tree branch. So we're going to make some branches come in. And I'm just going to stamp them randomly. There's not going to be any right or wrong reason why I'm doing this, but we're going to just do a couple there. And then we're going to do, we'll do one down here to make it look like he's sitting on the branch. So see if I can get it close enough. And we'll do it like that. That's good. Make it look like he's sitting on the tree branch. He's a little high, but that's okay. All right, now we're going to close this up. And we're going to come back in. I'm going to use Evening Evergreen. We put this off to the side. We're going to use Evening Evergreen for this little spine, I guess the spine thing of the leaf. And I'm just going to come in with this, and I'm just going to start adding like the leaves. I'm going to stamp one, and then I'm going to stamp off, okay? And then I'll come up here, I'm going to put one here, and then we'll put one off. So we just want to do, not to have it too drastic, but we want one on and then one off. And then we're going to come back and fill this with a color, with an actual, the leaf part. So let's just come up here and we'll stamp one, and then we'll stamp off. Whoopsie. And then we'll stamp another one this way, and then stamp off there. And we'll twist it, and we'll have some coming this way. And it's whatever you feel like doing, right? There's no wrong or right way. And let's just do one right here. Let's do it. No, let's see. Do I want one there? Yeah, let's put one right here. Why not? We'll put one there, and we'll put one off to the side. That's good. I think we're good. I think this one needs some more. This needs another one right here. And we'll stamp off here. We need some at the top though, because this looks kind of funny with no, and we'll stamp off there. Okay. All right, so there's our leaves. Now we're going to come back with shaded spruce, and I'm going to stamp off because the first time I did it, it was really dark. So we're going to stamp off, and then there's another leaf stamp that's going to fill in. So we're going to put this on here, and once I get some ink on it, you'll see it. All right, so can you see the ink, the stamp? That's the leaf. So we're going to cover this up. It's going to look kind of leafy, but it's okay. So I'm just going to do a little light stamping off, and then I'm just going to cover up those veins, okay? So I'll just come back and do a little bit, and we'll just cover some more. And we'll take this one, and we'll turn him this way. All right, and that's all we're going to do. We're just going to keep doing that just to fill in, because he's in a tree, right? So he's got some branches hanging all over him. So we're going to lightly stamp off some of these so it's not quite as dark. We'll stamp off. We got leaves going every which way. We probably should have made them like yellow, like the fall, right, instead of green. We should have made them like crushed curry. And then we'll stamp off. We're going to do that one because that one's a little bit lighter. And then we need to come down here, so we'll stamp off. And we'll do one here. And I think I'm going to just re-stamp it because I think that I like that much better. And then I'm going to stamp off. We'll do that one. And then I'm going to come back and do this one. And that one. Come back and do this one. We got a tree full of leaves here, don't we? And then we'll do one here. All right, so there's our tree. Hang on one second, because it looks like our internet. Let me see what's going on here. Give me just a second here. Hopefully it says we've got a weak signal. Hopefully that's not hurting everything. I'm trying to get it back. Battery storage. Okay. All right, we're almost done. Okay, so we've got our squirrel. So we're going to go ahead and add everybody. So let's attach everything with our adhesive. And let me get this off here. Go ahead and add our adhesive. Okay. And we'll put this right here. And I like this little pop of Poppy Parade because it really does kind of pull that color in, which is nice. And then we're going to add this to the front of the card. And we'll be done here in about, oops, I got a little bit too much there. Got a little heavy-handed. We should be done in about 5 minutes. Not even that, hopefully. Well, maybe 5 by the time I go through everything. All right, so we're going to add that right there. Put that on here. Okie doke. Wipe that off. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is we just have to add this to the front of our card, right? So we want to look at where our card is, and I'm going to trim this off, so don't be concerned about that. All right, so now we've got this here. So we only want to put adhesive on this side of the card, right? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use my seal just to hold it on. So let's just put some right here, and I'm just going to do a little bit here. I'm not going to do much, and then I'll probably put some right about here, and that hopefully would be enough to hold it. Okay, and we're going to lay this here to where it looks like it's even, and I'll lay that down. Let's see if are we even? Let me see. Get up there. Lift up, Bubba. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's lay it right about there. Is that straight? Yep. So we're going to push that down. All right, and then there is our card. Let me bring this out just a little. Oops, not too much. Hang on. I'm going the other way. There we go. All right, so there's that. And there is the inside of our card. Isn't that the cutest? So there's that card. And where's the other one that we made? It's over here. And then here is our birdhouses. So again, we made our birdhouse with a gift card holder. And you can also put white paper here too if you want to write a longer sentiment. And then here is our Nuts About Squirrels card. Hope you feel better. All right, there you go, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this class. I appreciate your understanding with us, not with me not being with you live, but I really appreciate you all being here. And I will see you next Tuesday. Have a great week, a good weekend, and I will see you next time. All right, bye, everyone.